And today we're going to talk about how to write the perfect press release. So here we go. My firm is called Triumph Business Communications, also known as www.publictriumph.com. That's where you can find us. I like making things as simple as possible, what I call Sesame Street style. So everything here is simple and usable. It's not a whole lot of highfalutin theory, just things that you can immediately put into immediate practice so that you can get some publicity for your business and get publicity on your terms. Okay, so what do we do here? We get noticed, get our clients noticed, get yourself noticed. I'm going to teach you how. There are a few ways that you can do this. So one is public relations. Public relations is basically the craft of getting media attention on your terms. Second way, search engine optimization 101. Search engine optimization these days is public relations, and public relations is search engine optimization. You got to have one mastered so that you can have the other mastered. So there are some overlap between the skill sets. And finally, media coverage on your terms. How do you get media coverage on your terms? How do you shape public opinion so that it reflects your view of things? Public relations is the craft of gaining public attention on your terms. So how is this done? External media. External media is what people write about you. It could be newspaper, it could be TV, it could be radio, it could be someone else writing a blog on you. Whatever it is, external media. It's what other people do, it's what other people write about you. Internal media, that includes things such as newsletters. It could include your web log, otherwise known as a blog for short. It could be your social media that you use. It could be anything that is within your control, such as your Facebook page, which is under your control. Your Twitter feed is under your control. Things that are under your control are known as internal media. And community engagement. What is it that you do? What is it that your business does to make you a good neighbor? Community engagement is a variety of things. It could be charity involvement. It could be serving on boards of various organizations in your community. It could be just putting together an event and inviting your neighbors. Community engagement. Search engine optimization. As I said, search engine optimization is public relations. So search engine optimize yourself. There are a lot of different ways that you can do this. People often don't think of Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Tumblr, Facebook, Pinterest, but the fact is they can be very, very valuable. Some people just don't believe in Facebook, and these are people who tend to be older. However, the days of finding your business by letting your fingers do the walking through the yellow pages, those days are over. No one really does that anymore. Instead, if someone is going to find you or the problem that you solve, they're going to look on Google to find you. And so all of these sort of add up to make your Google presence a little bit more powerful. For example, LinkedIn has a great deal of search engine traffic. It's got a lot of search engine power, so you definitely want to use it. Same thing with YouTube, same thing with Pinterest or Facebook. The best thing about these sites is that you control the content. What you put on them is completely up to you. More free search engine optimization. Google Plus, if you register with Google Plus, it gets you in a whole lot of other different things as well. Not only does it get you Google email accounts, also known as Gmail, but it also gets you access to Google Analytics, which helps you read and sort of glean information from who is visiting your website and why. Not only that, but you can put things up on Google Plus. And because Google owns that device, because Google owns that media, then it tends to assign priority to what you put on it. Bing is another search engine, and so is Yahoo Local. Now the Yellow Pages, we talked about the Yellow Pages just a moment ago. A lot of people don't think about this, but whatever your business is, make sure that you get yourself a Yellow Pages listing. Just go to yellowpages.com and you get yourself a Yellow Pages listing. Make sure that you add all the appropriate keywords that are relevant to your business. Remember, not relevant from your point of view, but relevant from the point of view of someone who has the problem that you solve. When you get your Yellow Pages listing, allow a couple of days for it. You can certainly expect phone calls and upgrade offers, but the fact is you don't need a paid listing to get the real benefits. These are some things that you can do as soon as you start your business. You can start a business, you can get a website together, and if you get a LinkedIn page, you get you get a Facebook page, you get a Twitter feed, and you get the appropriate social media, and you register in these online directories, other online directories such as Merchant Circle, Google AdWords, and I'll tell you about Google AdWords in a moment, and reputation management monitoring service. I'll get back to this in a moment, but if you register in these online directories, it won't take long before, it will not take long at all before you start to notice an online presence. And this is a way that you can get an online presence from nothing into a pretty significant online presence in a matter of days, if not weeks, or weeks, if not days. Now, reputation management monitoring. All you have to do is go to Google Alerts. That's what this is. When you go to Google Alerts, you simply type in the name of anything that's relevant to you, anything that you would want to know about whenever there's a new Google entry about it. So if you want your name put on there, or the name of your business, simply type in a Google alert, and whenever there is one, you will receive a prompt. Before I do, Google AdWords, you're probably wondering why this is up here. Google AdWords is a way that you can check to see what are the most searched terms that look like what you do, that most search terms relative to the problem that you solve. So, for example, if you have a grocery store, you could just get grocery stores, and the more searched that word is, the more Google charges for it in a pay-per-click campaign. It's a very good indication how much Google charges for it in a pay-per-click campaign. It's a very good indication of how widely searched that word is. And the more widely searched that word is, that's something that you can use when you write blog entries. It's something you can use when you write press releases for yourself, or for clients if you're in the public relations business. And if you put up a press release with the right keywords, you're going to get found a lot more easily. Also, you gain organic search engine optimization. Organic means unpaid, the best kind that there is. Any questions so far? Okay, fantastic. The long tail. Who has heard of long tail keywords? Anyone ever heard of that term before? If you have not heard of it, remember. Remember the Google AdWords that I just told you about. And the more widely used the search term is, the more expensive the AdWords are going to be. For example, grocery stores. If you just buy a pay-per-click campaign and you write, and it's grocery stores, if you own a grocery store, it is going to cost you a whole lot of money every time someone clicks on it. However, most of us are small businesses, and if you're a small business, then you need the cheapest and most expensive and most efficient search engine optimization that you can get. So here's how you do it: the long tail. At the top of the standard, the bell curve, or standard distribution, if you will have your most expensive words, such as grocery stores. However, if you come down the long term, the long tail, maybe a couple of standard deviations away, then if you have a small grocery store and it happens to be in Tampa, Florida, and maybe you sell organic food, or if you sell locally grown produce, then you could have keywords that say locally grown produce in Tampa, Florida. It's a heck of a lot less expensive than grocery stores in Tampa, Florida. And this is how the entrepreneur can get found a little bit more easily. The opportunity is in the long tail, okay? So if you're going to buy ads in a pay-per-click campaign, consider long tail keywords. Not only that, but the people who are searching for you tend to be more qualified buyers anyway. Ratings, very important. So we're going to talk about Google ratings. Okay. If someone rates your business, and the more people that rate your business, and the more people that rate your business positively, you actually get rewarded quite handsomely if you get 4 or more reviews of 4 or 5 stars. Now, if you get a 1-star review, don't panic. There are ways that you can mitigate it. Get as much content under your control as possible. What is under your control? The content that you put on your website is under your control. What you put in a press release is under your control. What you put in a blog entry is under your control. And what you put on your Facebook account is also under your control. I think you get it. whatever is, the more that's under your control, the better, instead of someone else's control. In other words, what someone else is writing about you. Friends with benefits. What does this mean? This is when you ask other people to backlink to you, and you ask them, and you in turn backlink to them. However, it only works if two businesses that backlink each other are relevant to each other. So, if you are a physical therapist, for example, and you are working with a doctor that helps people recover from accidents, then if you have a link on your website to that doctor's office, and that doctor's office in turn links to you, then that's good link building. Those are two links that are relevant to each other. So that's one way that you get Google power, if you will, is friends with benefits. It's good keywords and it's good backlinking. And that's how you get Google power. Not only that, but if you have a trusted partner, or if you have someone that you've done business well before, then get them to write about you, and you write about them, and you link each other, and that way both of you win. Now, let's pursue some media coverage. As I said, you want to get media coverage on your terms. So let's talk about some of the principles on. Get your A game on. As we say at Triumph Business Communications, private triumph must come before public triumph. If you have a secret, and if you have a secret for the wrong reasons, because you have some business practices that you are using that you don't want other people to know about, then you probably either need to employ a remedial public relations plan, or you need to change the way that you do business. Think of this simple litmus test. Actually, there's a couple of litmus tests. If you're proud to tell your mother or your children about the way you're doing business, then chances are you'd be proud to tell the newspaper about it too. The second litmus test is the investigative reporter test. What if an investigative reporter called you today? Would you be ready? Would you be happy to talk to that person? Or would you suddenly need to go and hide behind an attorney? Or would you need to issue just a short press release that said, no comment? If you're not ready for a reporter to talk to your business, then you need to change your business. Position yourself as a credible expert. There are many different ways to do that. Probably one of the best ways to do it is to just get engaged with the news. Make sure that you read the newspaper on a daily basis. Especially read the newspaper and read from reporters and editors that cover your sector. So whatever your industry is, it could be commercial real estate, then pay attention to which reporters that are local cover commercial real estate. And then whenever there is an article about your industry in the newspaper, just reach out to the reporter. They're quite easy to find. Almost always they have their byline, they have their byline and their email address right next to the byline. So drop that reporter a note. Don't hate, just drop them a note. Instead you can say something to the effect of, Dear Mr. Reporter, I read your article. I found it very interesting. This is my business. Have you considered A, B, and C? In other words, you are educating the reporter. The reporter may or may not respond to you, but nonetheless, if you do it often enough, they'll start to remember you. And then next time they have a story that covers your business or your sector, they may be a little bit more apt to contact you. Again, you are positioning yourself as a credible expert. Exploit events in the news. If there's one thing reporters like, is a local tie, especially with local reporters. They want a local tie to a national story. And so if there's something that's going on of great national importance and you have a local tie to it, for example, if you knew someone who was involved in a major national story, or if you have something to add, once again, reach out to a reporter. Reach out to a reporter that you know, or reach out to a reporter that you trust, and just offer your opinion. That's all that matters sometimes, is that you have an opinion. If you have an opinion and you have something useful to add, eventually they're probably going to give you a call. Just don't be shy. Do it. Be user-friendly for reporters and editors. Reporters are on deadlines, and reporters need certain things in order to advance in their own career. What do they need? They want an exclusive. They want some detail that other reporters don't have, that other media outlets don't have. And so if you can offer them that, they're going to come to you more often. Also, another way to be user-friendly to reporters and editors, remember that they're on deadlines. And so if it's TV news and they've got to get something ready for the 5 o'clock broadcast, they're on a tight deadline. Drop what you're doing and answer that reporter, okay? Don't keep them waiting. The news that they have to put out must be fresh, especially today. Crisis can become opportunity. Not all crises are bad. Everybody blows it sometimes, but it's not really how you blow it, it's how you recover from it. There are certain ways that you can recover from a crisis. Get out in front of it. Be honest about what's going on. If you've blown it, say that you've blown it. If you are worried about getting sued, then coordinate with your lawyer before you say something to the media. But there's always something that can be done to help you err on the side of mitigating the crisis. If you're honest about it, if you fix it, then quite possibly you can come out even stronger than you were before the crisis happened. And in which case the crisis has actually become a good thing. Highlight your difference always. Your difference yields your rewards. What is your difference? Well, quite frankly, it is your take on your business. It is your take on something. Whatever it is that makes you different, it could be a different way of selling commercial real estate. It could be a different way of helping people get out of debt. It could be a new way of publishing books. Whatever it is, whatever is different about you, go ahead and highlight it. Put it out there front and center. Your difference is where your rewards are. Your comfort may be found in your similarity. In other words, we all do the same thing, and therefore there's a certain comfort level in that. But similarity is not going to get you in the news. It's not newsworthy. What is newsworthy is what's different about you. The nature of news. Now we're going to talk about what reporters really want. And quite often, it's not what you think it is. So, what are reporters in? As I said, they're interested in advancement. If you can get them exclusives, if you can be user-friendly to them, if you respond to their queries, then they're going to want to deal with you more often. What else? Comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. I'll say it again. Reporters are always interested in comforting the afflicted and afflicting the comfortable. If you are rich and if you are powerful, the media will always have you under a magnifying glass. And they're going to want to know if you came by what you have in an illegal or unethical way. And if you did, they're very happy to spotlight that so that the masses can take happiness in watching you fall. At the same time, comforting the afflicted, well, it's a Robin Hood sort of ethic. They want to stand up for the little guy. That's what reporters want to do. Why? Because the little guys read their newspapers by the masses, okay? So not only does it make them feel good, but of course it also boosts their readership and their ratings and whatnot. So, what are reporters interested in? It has been proven time and time again that there are elements of newsworthiness, and so we're going to go into it. Just briefly, but we're going to go into it. One of the first elements of newsworthiness is conflict. Why? Everybody loves a fight. Everyone loves a fight. So if there's a conflict, especially between two powerful parties, they like that. Why do you think presidential elections get so much attention? Or even better, if it's a David and Goliath situation where it's a little man taking on a big corporation or someone who's powerful, they love that too. Timeliness. It has to be fresh, especially in today's 24/7 news cycle. They always have to feed the beast. They always have to come up with some new detail. They always have to come up with some new story, okay? So whatever you offer them, it's got to be fresh. Proximity. What does that mean? How close is it to your readership? This is especially important with regards to local reporters. Local reporters want things that are relevant to their hometowns, to their readership, to their viewers, whatever it is. Proximity. Prominence. Does it involve someone of importance? Significance. In other words, if it's significance, does it affect a lot of people? The more people that it affects, the more the media is interested in as a story. So these are things that you want to think about when you're considering pitching to reporters. Romance and adventure. Well, Everybody's a sucker for that. Sex. Need I see more? You can always see, if a story has an angle to it that incorporates sex, they'll always love it. All you have to do is look right here in Tampa, Florida, at Channel 8 News or any of the local stations whenever there's a story about a strip club, and they always roll the B-roll of people inside the strip club, of course under the pretext of being shocked and outraged by the footage. The fact is it just sells newspapers and people want to watch it. Progress. Does the story keep on progressing? Does the story have a new development every few hours or every few days that the media can report on? If so, they're always interested in that. Now, if you are dealing with a crisis, then the last thing you want to do is keep on feeding that crisis with new developments. Instead, you want to find ways to turn events, to shape events to, to benefit yourself or your client. Bizarre. Whoops. Is it bizarre? Why do you think Michael Jackson was so popular as a news feature? How about Miley Cyrus? If you can make something bizarre, if you are bizarre, they're going to want to report on you. And finally, currency. Currency means an idea whose time has come. That's what it is. A new invention, a new process, a new technology. That's what currency means. It's an idea whose time has come. So, the more of these elements of newsworthiness that your story incorporates, the better off you'll be. The more success you'll have getting your story noticed by reporters.